Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's discussion is going to be talking about how you could hit all your goals in 2025. This video is basically a culmination of all the different self-help and productivity lessons that I've learned through content creators and influencers in the last 3 to 4 years. And so I just wanted to summarize everything that I kind of learned into a very concise video for your reference. So I'm sure all of us have heard of SMART goals. If not, it is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-based. So when you're setting goals, every single year you want to be able to put these into those categories. So for example, one of the goals people might have is I just want to go to the gym more consistently, right? Instead of that, you could start defining it and curating that type of goal to more fit this framework, right? So I want to go to this gym for this amount of time, so 365 days, 5 days a week, and be able to do a workout for 1 hour every single time. And then that goal is way more substantive, right? You understand if you're actually being able to achieve it, rather than just saying like you're just gonna like look good and go to the gym throughout the year. And that brings me to another point actually. When you are setting goals, you never want to be output focused, which means like, oh, for example, like let's go with the gym analogy again. You never want to say, I want six-pack abs, right? Because that's technically not something that's in your control. Like you can't just snap and make it happen. Rather, you want your goals to be more input focused, right? So instead of saying, I want six-pack abs, instead you say, hey, I'm going to do an ab workout every single day for 10, 15 minutes. And then that's something that you can't control, right? You can't snap your fingers and then, do your workout. So just keep that in mind. The other thing about setting goals is it is way easier to actually take away or substitute things rather than just continue adding to your workload. I'm sure all of us already have 8, 10 different things that you're trying to do every single day. And every single year when you're trying to add new goals or trying to achieve something new, it's not going to be that beneficial for you to be constantly, adding more things into your routine. It just, time is your most important resource. And if you're splitting across 15 different things and every single year there's one more thing, probably not going to be your best bet. And so this lesson is basically just figuring out what is the best way to actually remove unnecessary things, like maybe bad habits or activities that you don't need to do, rather than just continue to add things on top of it. For example, if you want to say something about like get more exercise, one of the things that you could do is instead of watching like Netflix at home, what you could do is replace that time with like walking on a treadmill or some low maintenance activity. So that would be an example of like basically removing, but a lot of people can't do that, right? Because that's already a habit that's already ingrained. It's within their daily lifestyle and everything. And so one of the things that you could do is actually substitute instead. So every single time that you would have watched Netflix on, your computer, instead maybe take your tablet, maybe take your phone and go on the treadmill and watch it at the same time. And so that way you're able to incorporate both your good and bad behavior at the same time to be able to achieve your goals. So you're kind of killing two birds with one stone. The other thing that I would mention with a methodology like this is you want to make a very, very hard rule that that is what you're going to do, right? So no matter what, anytime that you want to watch Netflix, you have to be doing some type of exercise. So whether it be like walking on a treadmill, doing crunches, burpees, whatever, you just have to make sure that it's something that you can stick with so that association is always there. And that kind of leads me into another point, which is building your environment to suit your goals, right? So one of the biggest things that you could do is separate your work and your leisure time. So you never want to have one computer that's for both work and leisure because it's very easy to get distracted and your brain is already subconsciously thinking of both two things. You want to be creating an environment that suits your goals. So for example, if you need to study, right? And your goal is to, work harder that year in terms of like taking the GMAT or MCAT or whatever exam you're doing, right? One of the things that you could do is every single time you study in one specific location of your house, or for example, the library or like a study hall or anything, and you just condition your brain to automatically want and need to study in that specific location every single time. So that's going to help out a lot, especially with setting up your environment, because then you could, start working towards conditioning your brain to doing those different things. Next up is Parkinson's law. So for everyone who doesn't know, Parkinson's law is the amount of time that a task takes is something that expands with how long you let it stay out. So for example, if I have an essay due in 2 months from now, it's going to take me 2 months to do that essay. But if it's due in 2 days, then I'm going to work on it right now because obviously there's way less time and there's a deadline. So you could kind of set artificial deadlines for yourself in your life, especially with a lot of tasks that might be a lot longer of a time horizon. So that way you're able to always move forward and it's never feeling like you're procrastinating, right? Because any task that takes 2 months long, most of the time you're not proactively doing it for weeks at a time because you know it's like, hey, it's in the future. But if you set this deadline for yourself of I need to do this by this time, it reframes your mind into thinking about how to accomplish it in the most effective way possible, right? I know a lot of you guys are probably students, and when you're submitting an essay the night before it's due at midnight, that's Parkinson's law right there. So you need to be able to start set artificial timelines for yourself as well. The next thing is create the habit first. Don't focus on just trying to build it up as fast as you can, right? Motivation is a very strong force. You could go to the gym for 2 or 3 days and be super motivated, have like 2 hour working sessions and everything. But then like a week later, when life gets busy or something comes up, you're going to give yourself an excuse as to why you can't go, why you can't make it. Oh, like I feel tired today. I didn't eat enough or something. The goal, especially with building new habits and achieving what you want to do, is not necessarily to try to get to that as fast as you can, but more so just put in the consistent reps every single day, no matter what, right? You don't want to listen to your emotions. You don't want to give yourself any like subconscious excuses. You just show up for yourself every single day, very, very consistently. The thing is, habits take around 2 months to develop. And so when you are trying to build up a habit, you just need to get to that 2 month mark. So that's what, 60 days? Every single day, you just show up, you do like maybe 5-10 minutes, and then you do repeat it the day after. And that's just going to ingrain that habit over and over again. So that way, kind of going back to the thing about conditioning, you're able to actually set that as like a baseline for yourself. There's a quote that I heard that the hardest weight to lift at the gym is the front door. And I feel like that resonates extremely well with me, right? It's not challenging to actually, like when you're at the gym, it's not challenging to actually like push yourself and everything. The difficulty is bringing yourself to the gym, right? So you need to be doing everything that you can to minimize that mental friction as much as possible. And the best way to do that is just make it so that it's so consistent that your brain just knows that it's supposed to do something like that, right? Same thing that goes with any other habit. If you want to build something up very consistently, just do it every single day for 5-10 minutes. Let's go back to the gym analogy, right? You don't have to work out for an hour every single day. Honestly speaking, I think that's a lot. A lot of people mainly go to the gym like 3 to 4 times a week. But when you're starting out, maybe it's good to just go every single day, build up the habit of driving or walking or biking to the gym, and just go for like 5 minutes. Like force yourself to stay in the gym for like 5 to 15 minutes. And even if you had to do like cardio or do something, minor that day, you don't really feel like working out, just be in that position, be in that environment, and that's eventually going to help translate that into a long-term actionable goal. Kind of along the same veins, don't miss 2 days in a row of a specific skill that you're trying to break. Yes, life happens. There's emergencies, there's accidents, there's things that keep people busy. Totally understand that, but just make sure you don't skip 2 days in a row, especially when you're trying to build up a habit in the first 2 months. The next thing you want to do, especially when creating your goals, is to kind of structure them in the easiest way possible to understand what your overall objective is, right? So for me, a lot of the goals that I have kind of filter into a couple different buckets, three of them being career-related goals, health, so physical, mental well-being, and then relationships, so friends, significant others, family, etc. And so every single year, I try to set maybe 2 or 3 sub goals within these 3 categories. And I almost envision it as like a pyramid, right? Here's like the top like 3 categories, and then they kind of branch down further and further. And then under each is like the inputs and the results that I'm trying to get in each of those goals. And so for every single goal, you could kind of categorize it into a goal that is intrinsically motivating you or something that is extrinsically motivating you. And even better, you could also categorize the goal as to something that you're running towards or something that you're trying to run away from. What do I mean by that? Things that you're trying to run towards are like achievement. It's like some type of self-fulfillment. It's something that you want to get, like maybe money, status, fame, whatever, right? And then things that you're trying to run away from, the reason why you have a goal is, to run away from negative emotions, right? So maybe feelings of inadequacy, depression, anger, some type of issue that you're facing. And arguably speaking, the best time to achieve a goal is where you have something to run towards and something to run away from. So for me, the reason why I started going to the gym was actually because of a breakup. So that was kind of what I was running away from. And what I was running towards is, having a more aesthetic physique, being a better version of myself, improving myself every step along the way, right? And being able to do that over the last like 5 years or so, it compounds, right? Next up, so with your goals, I would try categorizing them as effectively as possible into these subcategories, like we talked about that, but then also think about different ways that you could filter them even further. So for me, it's usually goals like removing a specific habit, like a bad habit, maintaining a current existing habit, or growing a new habit. And so for me, this year, content and entrepreneurship are two things that I'm trying to grow, right? My career development, my networking and everything is also something that I'm trying to grow. What I'm trying to maintain is my current friendships, being able to see people same frequency that I usually can, my physique, the time that I spend at the gym, the amount of time that I dedicate towards that, and just being able to maintain that type of lifestyle where I am physically active. In terms of things that I'm trying to remove, for me personally, I've been watching a lot of Netflix. I have somewhat of a video game addiction sometimes. And so those are two things that are like things that I'm trying to like get rid of, right? So the way that you categorize these are going to be into these three buckets. It's going to be very easy for you to visualize exactly the layout of your goals and how it fits into your long-term strategy overall. Hope this helps. I know there's a lot of different things to cover. Please let me know if I was missing anything in the comment section. But thank you for watching this video. I hope you have a great day and take care.